enclave in phases. Now, Mr. Trump also thanked Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who was in fact standing right beside him, for agreeing to his 20-point peace plan for Gaza. Then he issued a warning to the Palestinian group Hamas that Israel will have the United States' quote-unquote full backing to destroy the militant group if they rejected this deal. Meanwhile, PM Narendra Modi has welcomed the announcement of a comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict. The PM said that the plan provides a viable pathway to long-term and sustainable peace for the Palestinian and Israeli people, as well as for the larger West Asian region. My colleague Tony Waterman gets you more, but first, here's Trump and Netanyahu for you.
Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas, but I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do.
Your plan provides a practical and realistic path forward for Gaza in the coming years, in which Gaza will be administered neither by Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority, but by those committed to a genuine peace with Israel. I think this can be not only a new beginning for Gaza, I think it can be a new beginning for the entire region.
It's very unclear if Hamas is going to agree to this 20-point peace plan because it has already rejected certain conditions that are now included in this deal. They have said for months that they will only release all of the hostages once Israel fully withdraws from the enclave. But under this plan, the hostages, dead and alive, would be released within 72 hours of an agreement, and there is no clear timetable for Israeli military withdrawal. Hamas has also said that it will not disarm, a central tenet to this deal. It will also have no role to play in a new government. So the ball is very much being left in Hamas's court, which may be intentional because if the terrorist organization does not agree to this deal, then Israel, with the backing of the U.S., gets to carry out what has long been Tel Aviv's main objective, to eliminate Hamas, a goal that many experts say is nearly impossible without completely destroying Gaza. This plan also lays out a framework for who will be in charge of a post-war Gaza. This has been a major question mark over this conflict for many months. So under this plan, a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee will be created, and they will be responsible for the day-to-day operations, but that committee will be supervised by a new board of peace, as it is being called, and that board is going to be chaired by President Donald Trump. Others would be involved as well, including former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. Now, this body will set the framework and handle the funding for the redevelopment of Gaza. Just a few months ago, President Trump said that he'd like to turn Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East, focusing on how lucrative the waterfront property could be, even suggesting that everyone leave the enclave during construction. This plan, though, explicitly states that no one will be required to leave Gaza.
Stay with Washington, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu apologized to Qatar on Monday for a recent airstrike in Doha, said a statement from the Qatari Foreign Ministry. Now, Netanyahu made the apology during a trilateral phone call with Qatari Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani and US President Donald Trump. Now, according to the statement that has been released by Qatar's Foreign Ministry, the Israeli Prime Minister expressed regret over the incident and pledged that such an event would not reoccur. The statement also said that the US reaffirmed its full commitment to the defense partnership between the United States and Qatar during this trilateral phone call. Shift our focus eastwards, where Russia said on Monday that its forces had intercepted Ukrainian rockets as well as missiles, while Ukraine on the same day reported pounding Russian military targets, as you see there on your screens right now. The Russian Defense Ministry said in its air defense system intercepted 4 HIMARS rockets and 3 Neptune missiles over the past 24 hours. The Russian army struck Ukrainian aviation repair enterprise and several temporary Ukrainian military bases. They also took control of a settlement in the Donetsk region, the ministry said. Meanwhile, the Russian air defense forces intercepted and shot down 78 Ukrainian drones in regions of Bryansk, Belgorod, Voronezh, Moscow and Kursk from Sunday night to early Monday morning. Canada has formally designated the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, or the dreaded Lawrence Bishnoi gang, as a terrorist entity under its criminal code. It cited the group's violent activities, intimidation tactics, as well as threats to members of the Indian diaspora. Now, for prospective viewers, the Bishnoi gang in recent months has allegedly been involved in firing shots at comedian Kapil Sharma's newly opened cafe because actor Salman Khan apparently was invited for the inauguration. My colleague Maha Siddiqui joins us with the latest straight from Vancouver.
In a consequential move, Canada has listed the Lawrence Bishnoi gang as a terrorist outfit. This will now give the law enforcement agencies the ability to be able to seize their property as well as freeze their accounts. It will also give them more tools of prosecution, for instance, to be able to crack down on the recruitment by this gang as well as clamp down on the travel by the gang members. The move will also make it illegal for any Canadian to deal with any property related to the Lawrence Bishnoi gang or to be able to provide any property to them. The Federal Minister for Public Safety, Gary Anand Sangare, in a statement said that any form of violence in Canada will not be tolerated, especially one that is directed at a particular community to create a sense of fear and intimidation. This statement also described the Lawrence Bishnoi gang as a transnational criminal organization that was operating primarily out of India. Now, a similar statement and accusation has been seen in the past by the Premier of British Columbia, David Eby, who had written to Prime Minister Mark Carney asking for the listing of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, saying that he had received several complaints from the Indian community here in British Columbia, especially in pockets where there is a sizable population of the South Asian community, saying that they had received extortion calls as well as threat to their life from the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. This was backed by the Premier of Alberta, Daniel Smith, who too wrote to Prime Minister Mark Carney asking for a similar designation of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. And it is not just these two provinces. The province of Ontario too has been facing a similar problem and has raised this issue several times, saying that the South Asian community, specifically in Brampton, had been living in fear and intimidation of this gang.
Ban Khalistani extremist outfit seeks for justice, or the SFJ as it's called, led by designated terrorist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, has issued another direct threat to India's High Commissioner in Canada, Dinesh Patnaik. The SFJ has announced a 12-hour protest outside Patnaik's Ottawa residence on the 18th of October, also offering a $10,000 bounty for his address. Now, this comes after Canada labelled the Bishnoi gang a terror group, in fact. Now, that's something Pannu dismissed as a political move. But this, viewers, is not an isolated provocation. You might remember on the 18th of September, a couple of weeks ago, the banned outfit also issued a similar threat against Indian diplomats, essentially announcing a siege of the Indian consulate in Vancouver. India's foreign ministry, meanwhile, responded sharply, saying Canada is fully responsible for protecting Indian diplomats. Meanwhile, talks between both the sides are ongoing, even as banned outfits like the SFJ threaten further disruption. Over in the UK, Mahatma Gandhi's statue in Tavistock Square, London, was defaced on Monday. Now, it comes just days before the annual Gandhi Jayanti celebrations are scheduled to take place at the site on the 2nd of October. That's Tuesday, in fact. That's tomorrow, in fact. The High Commission of India has strongly condemned the incident, calling it a shameful act and an assault on the legacy of non-violence. In fact, in a post on social media X, the Indian mission said the desecration was reported to local authorities. Even its officials were on site to coordinate the restoration of the monument to its original state. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is witnessing one of its largest protests in recent history, viewers. This as the Awami Action Committee or the AAC as it's called, launched sweeping demonstrations across the region on Monday. The call for a shutterdown and wheel jam strike, potentially indefinite in this case, has triggered heightened tensions, with Islamabad deploying security forces en masse and also cutting internet access from midnight to curb mobilization. Here's a report.
Chaos on the streets of Muzaffarabad. A decisive cry for rights. Silence with bullets. What began as a peaceful protest has now turned into one of the deadliest uprisings in the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in recent years. 2 people killed, 22 injured, and a city in lockdown. Witnesses say armed thugs, backed by the Pakistan Army and the ISI, supported Muslim Conference, opened fire on unarmed civilians demanding nothing more than their basic rights. For the past 24 hours, Muzaffarabad has been at a standstill. Shops shut, businesses closed, and transport halted, part of a massive strike led by the Awami Action Committee. The protesters are not just on the streets. They have a detailed charter of 38 demands. These include abolishing privileged assembly seats reserved for the refugees in Pakistan, immediate end to luxury lifestyle of elite government politicians, ending the looting by mobile companies, reforms in governance, and even construction of vital infrastructure like highways, tunnels, and an international airport. They want clean drinking water, fair electricity tariffs, better education, local jobs, judicial reforms, and an end to corruption. Traders, students, farmers, even section of society has rallied behind the call for justice. But what has shaken the valley is the sheer defiance in the face of force. Protest leaders call this a decisive battle, urging all of Jammu and Kashmir to come out for their rights and join the indefinite strike against the Pakistan government and Pakistan deep state. As bullets fly and anger boils over, the protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir have sent a chilling message across the region. When the demand for dignity is met with violence, the cry for justice only grows louder. And the Gen Z in Muzaffarabad are out on the streets demanding accountability. With Aditya Raj Kaul, Bureau Report, NDTV.
With that, we shift our focus to Southeast Asia, further eastwards, in fact, where Typhoon Bishnoi struck Vietnam early Monday morning, leaving at least 16 dead and another 21 missing. After making landfall in the northern central Vietnamese province of Ha Tinh, Bishnoi caused massive destruction in 3 provinces, also blowing off roofs and toppling trees and utility poles in certain cases. Many of the typhoon-hit areas were still without power and internet services by Monday evening, posing further challenges to the disaster relief mission. Rescuers ran oxygen and water to students trapped in the unstable concrete rubble of a collapsed school building in Indonesia as they desperately worked to free survivors. Tuesday morning, more than 12 hours, in fact, after the structure fell, at least 1 student was killed, dozens were injured, and 65 were also presumed buried in the rubble. Rescue workers, meanwhile, police and soldiers as well, digging through the night, pulled out 8 weak and injured survivors more than 8 hours after the college in Al-Khuzini Islamic boarding school in East Java town of Sidoarjo. And with that, it's time we step into a short break. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere.
Play bingo at Tombola for free. There's £100,000 to be won throughout September. Open for fun.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, your guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Visit postoffice.co.uk/over50s.
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma. But so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pamelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today. By calling 0800 038 4926 and giving £1 a week to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 038 4926. Text C13 to 82727 or go online and give just £1 a week now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
With II's low flat pension fees, you could retire with more.
Really?
Open an interactive investor personal pension today.
In People's Postcode Lottery's October draws, we're offering new players the first month free. Sign up before midnight tonight.
Welcome back. On to updates from the world of business, where Alphabet-owned YouTube has finally agreed to pay $24.5 billion to settle a lawsuit that US President Donald Trump brought against the company over the suspension of his account following the January 2021 US Capitol riots. The alleged insurrection, as it was called, a court filing showed on Monday. Now, this deal makes Google the last of the three big tech companies to resolve lawsuits Trump brought back in July 2021, accusing the company of unlawfully silencing conservative viewpoints. Now, Trump had also sued Twitter, now known as X, and Facebook owner Meta, as well as Alphabet's Google, and their chief executives in July 2021. While Alphabet-owned YouTube has agreed to pay $24.5 billion to settle a lawsuit Trump brought against the company over the suspension of his account following the 2021 Capitol riots. A court filing showed this on Monday. Stay with the US, where President Donald Trump signed a proclamation Monday to impose tariffs on imports of timber, lumber and their derivative products to bolster American industry and protect national security. At least that's what the Trump admin has been claiming. Now, this proclamation in question imposes a 10% global tariff on imports of softwood lumber and 25% on certain upholstered furniture, which will increase to 30% on the 1st of January. It also imposes a 25% global tariff on kitchen cabinets and vanities, which will increase to 50% come January 1. Now, the new rates would start or kick off the 14th of October. This is according to the proclamation signed by the US President. The information reports that OpenAI generated around $4.3 billion in revenue in the first half of 2025, or earlier this year, about 16% more than it generated all of last year in 2024. Now, according to this report, OpenAI said it burned $2.5 billion in large parts due to its research and development costs for developing artificial intelligence and for running ChatGPT. After Team India's emphatic win at the Asia Cup this Sunday, my colleague Vimal Mohan spoke to Kuldeep Yadav. Take a look.
सूर्य कुमार यादव ने कहा, और सब जो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं क्रिकेट के वो कहते हैं कि मैचेस जो है वो बैट्समैन जिताता है, लेकिन टूर्नामेंट जो है वो एक बॉलर जिताता है। और कुलदीप यादव, मैंने आपसे वर्ल्ड कप के बाद भी बात की थी, क्या कमाल के बॉलर, आपको जब मौका मिलता है आप छा जाते हैं। मतलब आपसे आधे विकेट लोगों ने लिए हैं, 17 विकेट। मतलब
बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब आप ऐसे परफॉर्मेंस करते हैं, और टीम की विनिंग सक्सेस में आपका हाथ हो, उससे बड़ी कोई चीज़ होती नहीं है। ऑब्वियसली स्पेशली मेरे लिए अच्छा टूर्नामेंट था, आप कह सकते हैं इंडिविजुअली, और इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंस रही अभिषेक की, इतने बहुत अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस की इस टूर्नामेंट में। उसके बाद आपने फाइनल में देखा तिलक ने जिस तरह से बैटिंग की, लाजवाब बैटिंग की, तो ओवरऑल काफ़ी अच्छा था। और बहुत सी चीज़ें हैं जो हम नोटिस नहीं करते हैं, जिस तरह से अक्षर का रोल जो टीम में था, इंपॉर्टेंट 2 विकेट, वरुण के 2 इंपॉर्टेंट विकेट, तो कलेक्टिवली संजू सैमसंग, शिवम दुबे, कलेक्टिवली हमने ये क्रिकेट खेली है।
एक और बात जो है, जो कि पूरे टूर्नामेंट में मैंने 30 साल से कम कवर कर रहा हूँ, आप भी बहुत साल से खेल रहे हैं, 30 साल से आप भी खेल रहे हैं, मतलब भले इंटरनेशनल लेवल। ये वाला जो टूर्नामेंट है ना, इतना टेंस, पाकिस्तान, ये मतलब ये समझ में नहीं आया, मतलब ये फैंस भी बड़े परप्लेक्स हैं।
इतना कुछ पता नहीं है, और ऑब्वियसली आप कोई भी मैच खेलते हैं तो पहले तो अपनी टीम को देखते हैं कि आपकी टीम किस तरह से है। आप फील्ड को उतरते हैं तो आप अच्छी क्रिकेट खेलने को देखते हैं, और फेयरलेस क्रिकेट खेलने को देखते हैं। आप सोचते हैं कि जो आपकी टीम की स्ट्रेंथ रही है, जो आपने इतने सालों से अपने टीम के लिए किया है, या फिर टीम ने जो कमाया है, आप वो स्टैंडर्ड नीचा नहीं गिरना देना चाहते हैं। और
पाकिस्तान को 3 बार हरा
नहीं, बिल्कुल सही बात है। हम अपनी स्ट्रेंथ पे हम ज़्यादा फोकस करते हैं कि हम अपनी क्रिकेट कैसे इम्प्रूव करें और कैसे बेटर कर सकते हैं।
Now, she being a Chinese doctor and an ultimate fighting championship fighter is setting her sights on bigger competition arena while continuing to diligently care for her patients. That's correct. Now, by day, she practices acupuncture at a hospital in the southwest, in southwest China's Yunnan province. And by night, well, she transforms into a fearless fighter stepping into the octagon. Nicknamed the Doctor, she embodies a unique duality, balancing the Hippocratic oath of a medical career with the controlled violence of a burgeoning profession in mixed martial arts, or MMA as it's called. Viewers, the 30-year-old strawweight made her full UFC debut in late August, headlining the Road to UFC card against Brazil's Bruna Brazil in Shanghai. Here's more.
也是因为这一次是在上海比赛，然后有这么多中国人在支持我，给我加油。如果我没有把冠军留住的话，我觉得也是一种很大的错误。这一次的比赛是我目前为止上过的最大的一个国际舞台，然后我还没有办法把这些压力变成动力。然后每天晚上睡觉的时候，我就会想很多，回看我的笔记，去回忆我哪里做的不对，然后想改进一下。
Meanwhile, in the world of entertainment, viewers, music icon Madonna sat down with Jay Shetty for her first ever podcast interview on Purpose with Jay Shetty. Now, the Material Girl talked about her decades-long spiritual journey as well as life-changing highs and lows, including her unhappiness despite worldwide success, being raped while living in New York and contracting sepsis and waking up in the ICU while rehearsing for a tour. Let's listen in.
I had everything that people would assume would give you happiness. I had a successful career. I had fame, fortune, monetary things, physical things. But I wasn't happy. When I came to New York, when I was broke and I had no friends, I was held up at gunpoint. I was robbed. I was raped, all these horrendous things happened to me, but I just feel like I've always had a guardian angel. It took me a minute to figure out how blessed I was and that the universe was protecting me and looking out for me. I had such an unhappy childhood that whatever happened to me in New York City, I was like, whatever happens to me is better than what I'm sticking around. I'm not going back.
Hollywood superstar George Clooney has said that Vice President Donald Trump is quote-unquote not wrong about filmmaking leaving Los Angeles. Now, Trump's proposed 100% tariff on movies made outside America would be pretty damaging to business. Here's what Clooney said.
If it really happens, it would be pretty damaging to the business. Look, he's not wrong about the idea that businesses have left Los Angeles. They have in droves. What we need is, the incentives, the tax incentives that you get here in New York. By the way, they're building studios here because there's so much work. We need those. And by the way, if he really wants to fix it, then we should talk about a federal incentive passed to keep people working in Los Angeles, because there are tons of below-the-line people, grips and cinematographers, who are losing their jobs because work is going away, leaving to states, to New York and Louisiana and places like that, but also to London and other places. So it'd be nice if we had a federal sort of rebate.
Nearly 20 years after they tied the knot, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban are separating. Well, that's correct. The 58-year-old Australian actor and the 57-year-old country music singer have been living apart since June this year, according to entertainment website TMZ.
How are you doing? Are you all right?
And well, with that, it's a wrap on this Tuesday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun, Samar, Mahendran. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years.
Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years. Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
Hello and welcome. This is India Global. I'm Arjun, Samar, Mahendran, and here are the headlines this Tuesday. Israel agrees to Trump's 20-point Gaza peace formula. Arab nations welcome solution. Hamas yet to respond. Canada labels dreaded Lawrence Bishnoi gang terrorist outfit amid thaw in New Delhi-Ottawa ties. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir witnesses one of its largest protests in recent history. Awami Action Committee launches sweeping demonstrations across the region. IMF imposes ceiling on Dhaka's further borrowing. Move reveals Bangladesh economy may very well be headed for a major crisis. And 6,239 Indian faculty feature in Stanford's world's top 2% scientist list. 755 from IITs, 80 researchers from All India Institute of Medical Sciences find mention in coveted list. Here's a top focus this Tuesday on India Global. Now, with Netanyahu by his side, US President Donald Trump has unveiled a sweeping peace plan. Well, it's aimed at ending the Gaza conflict once and for all. It's bold, it's controversial, and of course, it's packed with major conditions. However, Hamas is yet to reply. Meanwhile, here's what the highlight of the Trump-Gaza peace plan looks like. Now, first of all, the plan calls for an immediate end to the war, but only in the condition if both Israel and Hamas agree at the same time. Now, Israel would not be allowed to annex or occupy any part of Gaza under this plan. Full stop. Now, Trump also demands Gaza be cleared of all terrorist influence, creating a peaceful and a neutral zone, as he calls it. Moreover, every hostage held by either side, this includes prisoners held in Israeli jails, as well as Israeli hostages held by Hamas, including Israeli civilians and soldiers, like I mentioned, would be released by either side. Now, in return, Israel would release 250 prisoners serving life sentences and another 1,700 Gaza detainees. Now, once these terms are met, Israeli troops would fully withdraw from Gaza. There will be no lingering presence. A transitional Palestinian committee, meanwhile, would take over governance with Hamas completely excluded. Now, the plan guarantees no civilians will be forced out of Gaza, or at least it promises so. It says no displacement and there will be no relocation as well. Meanwhile, Hamas would have zero role in the new Gaza leadership now that it's a firm line in Trump's plan. Moreover, to maintain order, international peacekeepers would in fact be stationed within Gaza during the transition. Now, these are some big promises certain to encounter equally big challenges. Trump's plan is on the table, but the path to peace is still anything but simple. Meanwhile, listen in to what Trump and Netanyahu had to say.
Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas, but I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do.
Your plan provides a practical and realistic path forward for Gaza in the coming years, in which Gaza will be administered neither by Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority, but by those committed to a genuine peace with Israel. I think this can be not only a new beginning for Gaza, I think it can be a new beginning for the entire region.
Well, for more on this, we are joined by Professor Kinvraj Jangid. He's a West Asia expert from OP Jindal University. Thank you so much, Professor Jangid, for taking out the time and speaking with us. Professor, first of all, is it really realistic to expect Hamas to disarm and also to surrender hostages in just 72 hours, sir?
Thank you. It is in a way a suspense kind of a scenario. Hamas does have an interest in continuing with its maximalist position and not compromise on the issue of the hostages. I think once they don't have anybody in their captivity, they would be really exposed to the Israeli attacks. So yes, this is in a way the red line for their survival. However, in this new plan, there has been an exit created. So this is the exceptional plan in terms of political realization. Both Trump and Netanyahu threatened and used all force in Gaza, assuming that Hamas will be really put in a corner and then Hamas will compromise. Hamas has really dodged that threat. If we remember, before he took oath on 20th of January, Trump said all hell will break loose if Hamas will not release hostages before he takes oath in the office. And I think Hamas has been really, really capable, and it's surprising that it's capable to really ignore the blatant threats of the American president so far. But now that the fighters of Hamas will have an exit and will be allowed to leave Gaza, some of those who will renounce violence against the state of Israel or the Jews will be also allowed to stay in Gaza. So that's actually a very rare quality of this proposal, meaning it shows a great amount of compromise on the part of American understanding of the problem, and it also shows a compromise under pressure by Netanyahu.
Professor Jangid, speaking of the other side, can Netanyahu realistically commit to a full pullback without fracturing his own coalition? And we've seen the amount of cases and the protests against Netanyahu, the Saturday protests as they're called, by family members of the hostages that are still in Gaza. Can Netanyahu commit a full pullback without fracturing his own coalition?
Well, for that, everybody is waiting for him to return to Jerusalem. What would be fascinating is his public address in Hebrew. Whenever he speaks to the Americans in America or whenever he speaks to the international media in English, he says something else. And when he speaks to his people, meaning his coalition partners and his base, he speaks to them in Hebrew. And he certainly conveys to them differently. He doesn't appear under pressure. He makes all kind of false, pretenses of winning this war. So I think he does have an open political minefield when he goes back to Jerusalem, and everybody is waiting to see how he will stand that kind of a political fallout. Interestingly, the opposition parties of Israel have come forward like they did in the last 2 years. They have said this to Americans that we will fully support Netanyahu government if his ultra-nationalist, radical, maximalist partners will depart from the government.
All right.
So
A very, very interesting, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Professor. A very interesting point, in fact, you raised that Netanyahu, when he speaks in English in front of the Americans, the tone and tonality and even the weight of words is very different. Now I want to ask you about, very quickly rather, because we're falling short on time, about the third party engaged here, which is the Arab powers or the Arab leaders. Now, why have the Arab leaders or the powers suddenly backed Trump? What's changed geopolitically all of a sudden?
Well, I must say that for the first time, the Arab states have really been united. Remember, not only Donald Trump made Netanyahu to accept the proposal, he made Netanyahu apologize to the Qatar Prime Minister yesterday. So there was a phone call sitting next to Trump. Netanyahu had to apologize to Qatar for the airstrikes in Qatar. And I think Saudi Arabia is another very important player in the Arab world that told Trump that there won't be any American diplomatic space if America allows Israel to capitalize on this blank check. And that's why Donald Trump, a few days back, before this peace proposal, he told Israelis, I will not allow annexation of the West Bank.
Yes.
Now, to many radicals in Israel, that was quite a rude realization, because they were believing that Donald Trump doesn't really restrict Israel from anything. So I think Arab world and some of the Arab leaders have been extremely independent in their thought, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the Palestinians that these
Arab leaders, for the first time, united in their thought and united for a cause. We really hope to see the end of this grinding war sooner than later. Meanwhile, thank you so much, Professor Jahangir, for taking out the time and joining us on this very important issue. Now, viewers, we shift our focus northwards towards Canada, where the country has declared the dreaded Lawrence Bishnoi gang linked to numerous violent crimes in India and Canada a terrorist organization. Now, this move has deep legal and also diplomatic consequences for those who are not aware with the developments of this case. Canada's terror listing now gives federal authorities power to freeze assets, block funding, and charge anyone supporting this gang or a terror outfit, as it's being labeled now. Meanwhile, officials say that the Bishnoi gang has threatened and extorted members of diaspora communities, including Indians, especially in British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario. Now, the group is also linked to the 2022 murder of rapper Sidhu Moosewala and threats against numerous Bollywood stars, including Salman Khan, the recent firing on Kapil Sharma's cafe in Canada as well. Now, the listing comes after demands from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and premiers in British Columbia as well as Alberta, calling it long overdue. Meanwhile, the gang is led by Lawrence Bishnoi. He's currently behind bars in India, but still active through a network of over 700 alleged members. The gang operates across borders, funding itself through extortion, drug smuggling, and contract killings, some allegedly also carried out in Canada and other countries as well. Well, for more on this, we are joined by former IPS officer Vikram Singh. Mr. Singh, thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us on this very crucial story. My first question to you, sir, is what took Canada so long to officially label the Bishnoi gang a terrorist organization to begin with?
Good afternoon and Jai Hind. This is $1 million question and a wake-up call. But well, better late than never. Nobody can condone contract killing, extortion, and also giving threats online and offline. The charges against Lawrence Bishnoi and his gang are absolutely unacceptable, and they need to be investigated very thoroughly. Now, to your late call, I would say that perhaps the Royal Canadian Mounted Police is one of the most professional police forces in the world. We have had joint training sessions also. I really don't know why this, whether diplomatic reasons, internal compulsions, political compulsions, but this should have happened long, long ago. Well, it has happened now. And I would say, my second point would be, please display the same level of alacrity, alertness, and proactive attitude when it comes to anti-India activities in Canada and pro-Khalistani activities. You cannot pick and choose, cherry pick. What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. Therefore, anything that is illegal in Canadian law in respect of anti-India activities, subversion, attacking our embassies and our diplomats, that also should have the same priority, as you have shown rather late, as you very rightly mentioned, in respect of Lawrence Bishnoi and his gang.
Of course, needless to say, sir. Now moving on to the bigger question, the second big question that arises here, and many are asking, in fact, is that can Ottawa or Canada actually disrupt the gang's financing and recruitment within diaspora communities? If yes, how can it do so? How can Canada disrupt the financing and recruitment activities of this terror outfit?
It's $1 billion question, and again, I would say the cat has 9 lives. Canada is a very small geographical location of any international gang. Compare it with Dawood. Suppose you were to ban him in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Dubai. Do you think for a moment that the Dawood gang would be incapacitated or emasculated? No way. He will find fresh avenues of activity, fresh recruiting grounds, and fresh targets. Therefore, a concerted action will have to be taken by the Interpol and other sister agencies and other allied nations to come down heavily like a ton of bricks on Lawrence Bishnoi and his gang.
My last question to you, sir. We'll be running short on time as we usually do on television bulletins. With Lawrence Bishnoi, of course, and obviously in jail, who's really running the show, and how, more importantly, sir, you have all the experience, how can the police actually reach the point person in Canada who's actually running the entire Bishnoi gang operations now?
If you are aware, the only thing that holds the life of a gangster is his financial depth and power. Freeze his assets, freeze his bank accounts, freeze the Hawala transactions, and all the assets that he has built up. But again, it's easier said than. Suppose it is in Canary Islands or other such tax havens. What do we do about it? You can freeze assets in Canada, India, or perhaps Europe and other friendly countries. But what if his assets are there in other countries who do not observe the rule of law? And there's a dozen such locations where he can. But where there is a will, there is a way. Again, I would say that if a resolute nation decides to go after the gangsters, his assets, his gang members, the assets of his gang members, and emasculate where it hurts the most, the financial base. And it can be just perfectly doable.
Where there's a will, there's a way, says Mr. Singh. Thank you so much, sir, in fact, for joining us once again on this very important broadcast. Viewers, now we shift our focus to South Asia, where Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is witnessing one of its largest protests in recent history. Now, this as the Awami Action Committee, or the AAC, has launched sweeping demonstrations across the region on Monday. Massive demonstrations are being held across Pakistan-occupied Kashmir after Awami Action Committee has called for protests over the denial of fundamental rights to people. The committee had earlier as well announced a lockdown on Monday to send a loud and clear message, as they call it, to grant people their rights. The call for a shutdown and wheel jam strike, potentially indefinite in this case, has triggered heightened tensions, with Islamabad also deploying security forces en masse and even cutting internet access from midnight to curb mobilization. Here's a report.
Chaos on the streets of Muzaffarabad, a decisive cry for rights, silence with bullets. What began as a peaceful protest has now turned into one of the deadliest uprisings in the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in recent years. 2 people killed, 22 injured, and a city in lockdown. Witnesses say armed thugs, backed by the Pakistan Army and the ISI, supported Muslim Conference, opened fire on unarmed civilians demanding nothing more than their basic rights. For the past 24 hours, Muzaffarabad has been at a standstill. Shops shut, businesses closed, and transport halted, part of a massive strike led by the Awami Action Committee. The protesters are not just on the streets. They have a detailed charter of 38 demands. These include abolishing privileged assembly seats reserved for the refugees in Pakistan, immediate end to luxury lifestyle of elite government politicians, ending the looting by mobile companies, reforms in governance, and even construction of vital infrastructure like highways, tunnels, and an international airport. They want clean drinking water, fair electricity tariffs, better education, local jobs, judicial reforms, and an end to corruption. Traders, students, farmers, even section of society has rallied behind the call for justice. But what has shaken the valley is the sheer defiance in the face of force. Protest leaders call this a decisive battle, urging all of Jammu and Kashmir to come out for their rights and join the indefinite strike against the Pakistan government and Pakistan deep state. As bullets fly and anger boils over, the protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir have sent a chilling message across the region. When the demand for dignity is met with violence, the cry for justice only grows louder. And the Gen Z in Muzaffarabad are out on the streets demanding accountability. With Aditya Raj Kaul, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, the cry for justice is only growing louder across Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. My colleague Aditya Raj Kaul, in fact, gets us the latest.
Massive protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir have resulted in the death of at least 2 and 22 others injured. Indefinite strike shutdowns continue for the last 24 hours, in fact more than 36 hours now, in different parts of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The Awami Action Committee is demanding justice and accountability from the Anwarul Haq government of the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and the Shahbaz Sharif government of Pakistan. Will there be justice, or will there be indiscriminate violation of human rights and also atrocities that have been committed against the ordinary Kashmiris and civilians of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir?
And well, with that, it's time we slip into a short break. Much more lined up on the other side. Don't you go anywhere.
It was so painful to watch.
I sat there and I held her hands. She just went. Though people don't like to talk about it, but we're getting older, it has to be done.
Yeah, you gotta have that conversation about wills.
Start to think about, well, what would I do? Where would I want to leave things?
Give more end-of-life care. Search Marie Curie Will Talk to get your free will guide.
Time to go to sleep now.
I can't sleep without Bunny.
Where is Bunny?
Downstairs with Grandma.
Is he? I'll better go and get him then, hadn't I?
For 50 years, Stana has been helping people continue to enjoy life upstairs. And with stair lifts fitted in less than a day, you can carry on just as normal.
But Bunny can't sleep without Teddy.
Contact Stana now. Stana, enjoy the life upstairs.
Our first year as a family flew by. And now, I want to make sure he'll be financially protected for all his birthdays to come. That's why I'm calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, I'd like a quick quote for family life insurance.
Okay, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
That's great.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And could help my wife pay off the mortgage.
And with our Smart Family Guarantee, you'll have peace of mind.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0808 141 5855 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
In People's Postcode Lottery's October draws, there's a share of £23.2 million to be won. Sign up before midnight tonight.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Welcome back. You're watching the Tuesday edition of India Global. We shift our gaze to the UK, viewers, where a powerful symbol of peace has been defaced in London. On your screens right there, Just days before Gandhi Jayanti, the iconic statue of Mahatma Gandhi at the Tavistock Square was vandalized with anti-India graffiti. That's correct. Now, the statue, a bronze figure in a meditative pose, has stood since 1968 near University College London, where Gandhi also once studied law. India's High Commission has called the act shameful and deeply disturbing, saying it's an attack on the very legacy of not only Mahatma Gandhi but also non-violence. Meanwhile, officials from Indian mission are already working with police and local authorities to clean and restore the monument. As investigations continue, questions are also being raised about the ill timing just 3 days before the International Day of Non-Violence, celebrated globally on the 2nd of October. We shift our focus to Bangladesh, where the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, is tightening the screws on Dhaka's foreign borrowing. That's right, for the first time ever, viewers, the IMF has placed a strict ceiling on, in fact, how much the country can borrow from abroad. Now, the move is being seen as a direct response to what it now calls as rising debt risk. Bangladesh, for perspective, can borrow no more than $8.44 billion in the current fiscal year, or the 2025-26 fiscal year, broken into quarterly limits, that too with just $1.91 billion allowed in the first quarter. Not only this, the IMF will also monitor borrowing every quarter from now, aiming to prevent over-dependence on foreign loans. Meanwhile, experts are hinting, and some are even saying, that this is a major warning signal that the country's debt is growing faster than its ability to repay the IMF, with external debt hitting $112 billion already and repayment burdens rising sharply as well. The debt-to-expect ratio, well, it's a whopping 162.7% as we get you this broadcast. And that's not just the size. Many of these loans also come with tough market-based terms, pushing repayment risks even further. Economists are urging caution, use foreign loans wisely, ensure projected returns, and most importantly, cut reliance on international borrowing. Otherwise, what was once a development tool could very well turn into an economic trap for Dhaka. Because India's scientific community is on the global radar once again. That's to a whopping 239 Indian researchers have been named in Stanford University's prestigious World's Top 2% Scientist list for 2024. Now, leading the charge are the IITians with 755 scientists, followed by the NITs, IISc Bangalore, and an impressive 80 from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, or AIIMS, with 56 from AIIMS Delhi alone. Now, this global recognition only proves and underlines further that India's research ecosystem is thriving. Be it medicine, information technology, or engineering, Indian scientists are making waves worldwide. And the future, well, it certainly looks bright. Well, it's a wrap on this Tuesday edition of India Global. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Since I retired, I've finally got time for the important stuff, like helping my family manage financially if anything happens to me. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money could help with my funeral costs, or as a gift for my granddaughter. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 977 6843 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Please, can you send someone out? The poor thing is so skinny, I don't think he can walk. Oh, the poor thing. This is awful. OK, let me take an address.
Today, the RSPCA will answer over 2,000 calls about animal cruelty and neglect.
Just completely unacceptable, isn't it, mate?
Today, we will need to take over 100 animals into our care. Today, we urgently need your help to save them. Please call 0800 121 4228. Every minute of every day, animals are suffering heartbreaking cruelty and neglect. Every day, our team works tirelessly to save them. A gift of just £2 a month will help us do even more. Answer more calls, rescue more innocent animals, and provide more life-saving treatments. But today, animals are suffering terrible abuse and neglect. Help us save them.
He's just been left tied up, I think. Poor thing's got no hair on him. He's in a terrible state.
Today, please call 0800 121 4228 or text TODAY to 82727 and give £2 a month. That's 0800 121 4228. Thank you.
At Tesco Mobile, we're celebrating 30 years of Club Card. And we've got a gift card just for you. Get our unlimited data SIM for just £20 a month with Club Card prices, saving you £120. And we'll give you a Tesco gift card worth £30. Now for the hardest decision, what to spend it on. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Life is complicated. Hastings Direct Car Insurance is simple. You've got a lot going on. A lot. Trying to save could really grind your gears. So come on, let's get a great deal off the ground! Nice driving. Hastings Direct is simple. Great cover, great price, and a great app makes us one of the UK's top choices when comparing car insurance online. Hastings Direct. Simplicity is the best policy.
Joining me, and yes, to get you major news from Hyderabad, I have Uma with me. Now I'll leave it to you, Vijay, to take us through what is really happening in Tamil Nadu related to Karur.
Thank you, Ritu. You know, you and myself have been tracking all the developments in Karur from the ground. First, we have a latest development is the two accused who got arrested by police on this Karur tragedy, two TVK functionaries, Madhi Aragan and Pound Raj, have been produced before the magistrate court, district court, and court just now ordered 14 days judicial custody for them. We just had a word with the advocate side also. There was a fierce argument between police and TVK advocates. We will get more details very shortly. You know, the FIR was registered against the Madhi Aragan, saying that under various sections, the main accusation against him was the case was registered culpable homicide and endangering public life and attempt to murder. These were the sections which was case was registered against Madhi Aragan, and even other person like other TVK functionary Pound Raj allegedly harboring the Madhi Aragan. In this context, the case was registered against him also. You know, in FIR, TVK General Secretary N. Anand and the other functionary CTR Nirmal Kumar name also added in the FIR. But they are police is taking all actions against them also. More details we will get to know very shortly. Sam will have more details on this. Over to you, Sam.
This is not a time for blaming people, or that's what the Chief Minister has also said in his video and his message to the people. It's not a time to blame each other, it's a time to be with the people. And unfortunately, fleeing the scene and not being there, and responsible leaders should not leave. And even if you've left, you should make sure at least your party functionaries are there, because people came to see you. Maybe you decided that not going to the hospital at that moment is not right, but you could have stayed, you could have come back. Nobody is there. Till this moment, I don't think anybody from their party has been there to reach out to the people even.
Sir, And just we saw what Kanimuli had spoken about this TV case stampede incident in Karur. Sam, what are you hearing from your sources regarding all the developments regarding this Karur stampede incident?
Well, Vijay, to put things in perspective, the police have arrested 2 people so far in the TVK Karur stampede case that killed 41 people. They began with the arrest of Madhi Alagan, the TVK's District West Secretary in Karur, who had originally applied for permission for Active Vijay's rally there on Saturday. Now they have also arrested Masi Poundraj, who police say harbored Madhi Alagan when they were on the lookout for his arrest. As we speak now, 2 other leaders who have been named in the FIR, the TVK's General Secretary Busi Anand and its Deputy General Secretary Nirmal Kumar, they have moved the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court asking for anticipatory bail, saying that they are in no way connected to the stampede. They are innocent, they don't have any criminal antecedents, and that the police are likely to arrest them. In that context, they have sought anticipatory bail. And they say there was a gang of Gundas who had infiltrated into that rally, caused trouble, and then that led to a stampede, they allege. They refer to an incident of somebody hurling chappals at Vijay that triggered confusion. They also point out there was an ambulance for no reason sent inside the crowd without any patient. That also led to a commotion. And they also say the police had not given them adequate protection nor deployed adequate forces. And for no reason, they made Vijay stop at some point 50 meters before the designated spot. And they also say there was a lathi charge by police without any reason. And soon after the tragedy, the party chief TVK Active Vijay has released or announced a 20 lakh relief for every family of these people who either died or who are now injured and being treated. In this context, they have sought anticipatory bail. The case is likely to come up on Friday, but the police have denied these allegations and they squarely blame on TVK team for this whole stampede tragedy. Vijay.
Thank you, Sam. We have another important question. What we have to ask now is here, people are expecting when Vijay will be visiting the Karur to console the families, victims' families. So this is the biggest question right now. We have even DMK criticize and other parties criticize Vijay for not visiting the Karur by meeting victims' families. So we have Ashish from Chennai who has been tracking all the developments from Chennai following Vijay's residence. So Ashish, what you are hearing from TVK sources, when we can expect Vijay in Karur?
Vijay, right now the situation is that the actor, TVK party president, he is inside his house. So far what we have heard and what we have learned in fact from the party sources, that he is not meeting any party leader physically, but he held a video conference meeting with party leaders on Monday. And later on, yesterday also we witnessed that how he came from one house to another house and he held meetings through video conference. What we are hearing and what the sources in TVK confirming that so far nothing has been decided on Vijay's touring to Karur or meeting to all those persons who lost their near and dear.
Unimaginable how people could have managed to run from that side. Such a narrow road, hardly any place to escape from there. Can you imagine what happened that day? If 200, 300 could not fit into that area, how 30,000 people could have managed during that hours? What was administration doing? What was police department doing? What was organizers doing? There are a lot of question marks on all of them. The ruling party and the officials must answer this. And we have sought many answers from the officials, from the administration, and we want them to reply by this weekend so that this committee should finalize the report at the earliest and submit it to the BJP National President. We don't want to delay it.
Intelligence failure.
We want the DMK party to reply here.
Intelligence failure also.
And if you look at what is the intelligence department doing here? Was they not aware how many people have gathered? If the leader has come late, if Vijay have come late, already there are thousands of people gathered there. What steps have been taken by the police department? Where was local administration? What were organizers doing? Just throwing bottles on them? I think there are many serious questions to be answered. We're going to meet all those families now who have lost their family members. So all of us are going to divide in separate groups and going to visit each and every family so that we try and reach out to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think now.
So what's your assessment?
Just we heard what Anurag Thakur has to say about the after meeting victims' families in Karur. He mentioned a lot of things like what is the situation there in hospital, and also we have another developments in court. Just now we heard about what court has to say. They have remanded the two accused from TVK functionary for 14 days. And we will get more updates. Now we just had a word with the TVK side advocate also. He alleges that police didn't give proper permission, proper route map for Vijay. This leads to chaotic situation. However, police refused those allegations in the court. He said that police side said they made all the arrangement, but even they asked Vijay to stop his campaign vehicle 50 meters away from the exact spot, saying that the crowd is huge, but TVK didn't obey such orders. So this led to a chaotic, tense situation, which led to stampede. So we have Sam Daniel also on this. Over to you, Sam.
Well, Vijay, this was very much expected now that the police have named these two leaders in their FIR and they have remanded in the court. The court has now remanded them for 2 weeks behind bars. We'll have to wait and watch whether these two leaders too would apply for anticipatory bail. But the FIR specifically has booked them under a case of criminal negligence, a case of attempt to murder and endangering public safety, besides culpable homicide not amounting to murder. These leaders, of course, in their bail plea, have denied these allegations, saying that it was the police who failed to provide them adequate security, and they in no way are involved in the stampede, as they call it. We'll have to wait and watch what the Madras High Court, the Madurai bench, would have to say when these bail pleas come for hearing on Friday. But at the moment, 3 people have been named. One is the party's General Secretary, Bussi Anand, the party's Deputy General Secretary, Nirmal Kumar, and thirdly, Madhu Alagan, the TVK District Secretary who is in charge of the western part of that particular area, who have been booked. Of course, the other person arrested, Vijay, is for harboring Madhu Alagan, particularly when the police was on the lookout. The TVK, while pointing fingers at the police, they've also told the court that they would want to have a CBI investigation because they don't trust the investigation by the state police. They've also asked the court to order preservation of all the CCTV footage from the stampede site in Karur. The police, of course, have denied these allegations. They squarely blame on TVK team for delaying Vijay's arrival to that spot, that he was supposed to come between around 3 o'clock, but they deliberately came by 7 o'clock with a 4-hour-long delay, while the permission was granted only for the slot between 3 and 10 in the evening. On their social media handle, the police point out the party had claimed or declared that Vijay would be coming there around 12 o'clock. Because of that, There was a 7-hour-long wait. There was a huge surge of crowd, and whenever the stampede took place, it was catastrophic. 41 people have lost their lives now.
It's absolute governance failure. Nothing more, nothing less. And I would...
Karur District Court. From Karur District Court, just now judge orders 14 days judicial custody for both TVK functionaries. One is Madhyaragan and is Pondraj. So they have been taken from here to police just taken both towards the prison. So before that, police arrested them last night. In the FIR named the Madhyaragan as the first accused, as Madhyaragan was the person who got permission for TVK Chief Vijay's rally in Karur. So on that, in this context, the case was registered against Madhyaragan and Pondraj. As far as Pondraj is concerned, there was an allegation like police alleges that he harbored Madhyaragan. So in this context, Pondraj also been arrested by police. We had those developments, and also another important story from regarding this Karur stampede. This morning, yesterday night, TVK's General Secretary Campaign Management Adav Arjuna posted one tweet and later deleted the tweet.
நாங்கள் செஞ்சது ஆர்கனைசேஷன் பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம். இதை வந்து உரிய பாதுகாப்பு திட்டமிட்டு கொடுக்காதவங்களோட தவறு தான். அந்த இடத்துல இவ்வளோ பேர் தான் நிற்க முடியுங்கிறது தெரியும். இப்போ எங்கள் தரப்பில் நாங்கள் பொதுமக்கள் கூடுறாங்க, எங்கள் மக்கள் கூடுறாங்க, எங்களோட தொண்டர்கள் கூடுறாங்க, அதுபோக பொதுமக்கள்
TVK's advocate side, he said that we argued in the court saying that the police has the responsibility to give protection to control the crowd, but police failed to do so. That leads to chaos in the situation. There was even advocate says that Vijay reached the spot with police permission only. They followed all the 11 departments, state government department regulation, which was laid conditions by the state government department. So these were all the things we can able to see from TVK side advocate.
உண்மையை கேட்டார். அவங்க வந்து எங்களை பேச விடாமல் செஞ்சாங்க. ஆனால் நாங்கள் எங்களோட உண்மையை சொல்லியாகணும்னு சொன்னோம். 1 மணி நேரம் 1.5 மணி நேரத்துக்கு மேலே எங்களோட தரப்பில் நாங்கள் எத்தனை முறை மனு கொடுத்தோம், எத்தனை முறை ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணாங்க, கொடுத்த இடத்தையெல்லாம் ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணாங்க, நான் கேட்ட வழியெல்லாம் ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணாங்க. ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணிவிட்டு இந்த இடம் மட்டுமே தான் உங்களுக்கு ஆப்ஷன் கொடுத்தாங்க. அந்த இடம் வந்து அந்த ஒரு குறுகிய இடம்னு அவங்களே 2025ல ஒரு
TVK advocate also says they asked for permission first lighthouse Roundana, which is a different location from where the campaign happened. TVK advocate says they seek permission to do rally on that space because which is wider comparative to the Velusamyapuram where exactly the stampede happened. But police side says they denied permission, saying that there was a bridge near to lighthouse Roundana which could lead to a unfortunate incident. So they refused permission for that location. So they gave another location that is where Velusamyapuram. They expect even police side says they brought engineers. TVK brought engineers to measure the area, whether how much crowd that area can able to hold. These are all the interesting developments we can able to get from the Karur District Court. However, judge sent those 2 TVK functionaries for 14 days judicial remand. And then another important story from Karur, around Karur tragedy is TVK's General Secretary political campaign in charge Adav Arjuna posted on post on Twitter, which was later become a huge controversy around that. Even though we can't able to independently verify that post, after Adav Arjuna deleted the post also immediately, but it was widely shared by DMK over in all social media, alleging that Adav Arjuna is insisting violence over the Karur tragedy. Even Kanimoli, we had a reaction from Kanimoli. Let's listen into a Kanimoli reaction over to this.
No, I'm not here to advise any party to say how to behave or but they have to be responsible. They cannot try to instigate violence. And I mean, this is a country which believes in non-violence, and we got our freedom through a non-violent struggle. What are you talking about? You can't talk about, instigating violence and, trying to lose more lives, is it? No, anybody, I don't want to mention names.
Over TVK leaders' provocative post. There is another one important breaking news over Karur tragedy. Storm over TVK leaders' provocative post. DMK hits out at TVK over Gen Z post. A. Raja says, is the post not anti-national? He questions whether the post is not anti-national. You know that TVK Arjuna posted and even he deleted the post immediately, but however DMK circulates the post widely around in social media. They have been criticizing, they are questioning the TVK leader Arjuna over this. Even after he deleted the post, even we got source information from TVK where they clarified they distance themselves from the party and such individual posts. Even TVK sources said the party doesn't encourage such posts, but however DMK criticized Arjuna and TVK over this post. Let's get into the A. Raja's bite on this topic.
Your second line leader, Arjun, did a Twitter in which he says Sri Lanka and Nepal revolution, this and that. This is a peaceful country, India. Tamil Nadu is having a lot of developments when it is compared to the government of India, GDP, 8.5, whereas we are having 11.5. When your state is having prosperity, you are claiming something revolution. Is it not anti-national as against the constitution which says sovereignty and integrity of this country? And also deleted that. What does it mean? What culminated to delete it? So you are admitting your own mistakes. You are admitting your own crime and accusing others. This is not fair for the Tamil Nadu culture and Tamil Nadu political culture.
Even though Arjuna, after posting such controversial tweet, he deleted the post. However, DMK says this is not encourageable from TVK second line leaders. We have Sam Daniel with us. Sam, how you see this? Even after Arjuna deleted this post, DMK on social media circulating this post. What you are hearing from TVK sources regarding this post?
Well, Vijay, it's yet another round of pot shots with the ruling DMK taking on Arjuna, the General Secretary of TVK, on a post which he originally shared on X and then quickly deleted after the ruling DMK had objected to that. It's a post which we did not read it firsthand, but if we have to go by what the DMK claims that Arjuna had shared on X, it talks about if the police turn into servants of their political masters, then there is no other way but a revolution. And he says that's just the way Sri Lanka and Nepal witnessed a revolution by Gen Z, the same thing by youth will happen here too. And that will be the foundation for a change of God and an end note for this rule, referring to the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu. Many objective, neutral observers say there's nothing wrong in this post. They wonder why Arjuna actually removed it. He's not inciting violence in their view. He's not triggering riots. But for some reason, the DMK finds that there could be a tacit reference that he is encouraging youngsters who follow Vijay to indulge in a kind of an uprising Sri Lanka or Nepal witnessed. And now A. Raja, DMK senior leader, saying that it was the DMK's efforts, it was Tamil Nadu's response that has forced this particular leader to delete that post, and there is no need for a revolution in a state that's witnessing a two-digit growth.
In an exclusive interview to NDTV, Kanimozhi has spoken exclusive to NDTV where she had said everyone should reflect and ensure such a tragedy, Karur, similar to what happened in Karur, doesn't happen again. NDTV's own Veera Raghav spoke with Kanimozhi in an exclusive interview. Let's listen into the bite of Kanimozhi.
Joining me now is DMK's Parliamentary Party Chief Kanimozhi Karunanidhi, who had visited Karur and had also met the press earlier in the day. Ma'am, 41 people have died. It's an enormous tragedy, one that we've not heard of scale in electoral politics, perhaps anywhere in the country. The DMK has made serious allegations against the TVK for organizing such an event and flaws that were there. The TVK has said that there is a conspiracy, criminal conspiracy, and demanded a CBI probe. Is the state ready for a CBI probe?
See, what the TVK and some people fail to understand is that when there is a political rally, when it is organized by a political party, even if the Prime Minister is attending it or the Chief Minister is attending it, there are rules and regulations which the police request the parties to follow. Nobody is above those. Because it is not just for the police, it is for the safety of the leaders and the people who come to attend the rally. So TVK has been again and again and again saying that there are restrictions there. They ask you to, follow these rules. And when you don't want to do this, there are repercussions, and nobody expected something, such a tragic thing to happen. And I don't think this is a time for, starting political blame games. Even the Chief Minister yesterday, when he put out a message, he has clearly stated that no leader that wants, their party people or any human being to be hurt or affected. So I think this is a time where we have to reach out to these people who have been hurt and, families which have lost loved ones. This is not the time to be blaming people, and the Chief Minister has appointed a one-person commission also, and the retired judge is also already there on the field and started the inquiry. So let us wait. Whoever is at fault, action has to be taken against them, and there's nobody above that.
You're making an important point. This is time for remorse, perhaps reflection, and perhaps showing solidarity with the families. But the question is about the objective truth, about what really happened, because there are criminal cases that have been filed against TVK leaders. The district secretary has been arrested. So the question is that will there be an impartial probe? And the point being made by the TVK is that only the CBI can give us an impartial probe.
No, they've moved the court. And let us see what the court is going to say. I don't want to...
Getting out and about isn't as easy as it used to be. HF. That's why I love Wiltshire Farm Foods meals. It means I've always got something tasty in the freezer. And with £5 off your first order, you too can enjoy delicious ready meals with free delivery straight to your door. Just call or go online for a free brochure and they'll send you a £5 voucher too. Wiltshire Farm Foods, that home-cooked taste, delivered. Now with £5 off your first order.
Tina's smart. She uses Wise to send and spend money overseas. Tina's gone! International. Whether she's sending money overseas or paying with the Wise travel card abroad, she could save up to 70% compared to using major banks. Join Tina and 14 million people worldwide who found a smart way to send and spend money overseas. Be smart. Get Wise.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements, new appliances, a car, or for some of life's big moments. So even if you've had problems with credit before, Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes. Evlo, your future in your hands.
Time to go to sleep now.
I can't sleep without Bunny.
Where is Bunny?
Downstairs with Grandma.
Is he? I'll better go and get him then, hadn't I?
For 50 years, Stana has been helping people continue to enjoy life upstairs. And with stair lifts fitted in less than a day, you can carry on just as normal.
But Bunny can't sleep without Teddy.
Contact Stana now. Stana, enjoy the life upstairs.
Since I retired, I've finally got time for the important stuff, like helping my family manage financially if anything happens to me.